I sent you some clips.
Some what?
I sent you some clips.
Okay, I'll see.
We live. What's up, fam?
Some what? Okay, I'll see.
I'm glad y'all tuned in. We about to get the show started. Yeah. Dr. Clyde Winners and Yoshi. Yeah. Yeah. Then and now. We talking about back in the day and right now. Yeah. Then and now. Then and now. Then and now. Then and now. Then and now.
Now let's introduce Yoshima the Genius and Dr. Clyde Winters, the godfather of research.
What up, though? What up, though?
What
Yeah, today is a very interesting day. I've been out there trying to get some of that melanosynthesis, get some of that sunshine.
up? Oh, same.
That's right,
Awesome.
and you sent me on a mission. You know,
Oh, I did. And what
yes,
mission was
sir.
that, my dear friend?
Yes, sir. You sent me on a mission, and the mission was to look at the American Society of Magical Negroes.
Ooh, the American Society of Magical Negro. What?
Wow, that is that was a movie that did they distribute it? Was it at theaters or?
It I believe it appeared in some theaters, but it didn't last long, and they pulled it from theaters, and they blamed
Mhm.
it on the name. They said that a lot of people was uncomfortable with saying the name at theater to get the ticket. So that's what I heard. That's the
Yeah.
rumor behind it.
How you doing, Teresa Miller? You know the
What's up?
it's very interesting. It's a very interesting movie because I think that what makes it so interesting is that this whole idea of magical Negroes. It's you think about who are we? What are we? Where can we go? How can we be who we are? How can we be? And it's kind of really crazy. And what makes it crazy is it's this whole idea of of is there a magical Negro? Could you kind of tell the people about the film?
All right. So basically, my interpretation of the film, because it really made me cringe watching it. I don't know if y'all can hear me. So the movie made me cringe watching it. I really don't like the dude Justice, his character. His character seemed dull, emotionless. Um, but there are people like that, so I guess he could relate to them. But from what I got out the movie, a young man who is an artist and he's trying to sell his artwork, feel bombed out, cross a white lady, help her out. Some white dudes intervene, and somehow he's a threat because he looks threatening and black and intimidating. And that's when what you call him intervene. What's his name? Danny, David, I believe
Yeah, Alan Greer,
Alan Greer. All
but he
right,
was
so
called Roger. He was
Roger.
Roger in the film.
So yeah, that's when Roger intervened and was like, "Hey man, you got potential. I see you as part of this academy, a a magical Negro society." So he brings him in. One of his clients, the dude he end up falling in love with her, and then breaks the code. They feel sympathy for the young dude, and they didn't erase his memory and let him keep his thoughts or some crap like that. But I seen Cades, and a whole bunch of Cades, and I was just like, God Dang, man, that's a lot. So I had to look up who the writer is and who actually wrote the storyline, and it was Kobe. And I'm like, man, Kobe. So I'm looking at him, and the dude looked pretty square, along with the other actor looked kind of square next to him. And I checked out their parents, and I was like, all right, I see what's up. They didn't have that strong mother background. They didn't come from the black womb. So I seen that. But what got me was when I looked at a couple of their interviews after the film, and I seen that they was really backing each other on this story, and the story ended up getting a backlash from both communities, from the whites and from the blacks. So we both didn't like it and both felt disturbed by the movie. So a lot of people gave it a thumbs down. But I wanted you to see it because this is a high representation of CAIDS. It should have been called
Mm.
CAIDS. I would have, if they called the film CAIDS. What's up, JP? If they called the film CAIDS, I think it would have hit, box office a little harder. You know.
What I thought was very interesting is that it did make, I think it did make an important point, and I think because what they tried to do is that they were saying that the most dangerous person, most dangerous animal on earth is an unhappy white person,
Mm,
and
they
that
didn't
I,
say the
I thought
part.
I thought that was kind of deep, and that
Yeah.
and that and that in other words, in a sense, is that he felt that he was saving the world by that you saved the world by keeping the white man happy. What do you think about that whole idea that we can save the world by keeping the white man happy, or is there any way that you can keep the white man happy?
All right. So could you say Frederick Douglass saved the world by keeping a white man happy in a sense? by
Um,
by inputting, keeping them letting them know the laws, kind of teaching it to them, regulating it, making sure they don't cross different boundaries. Would you say that or no?
well, Frederick Douglass is very interesting, and I think that Frederick Douglass, I think that he in a sense in a way he was a magical Negro, because when I think of the Civil War, I don't think about Frederick Douglass, because Frederick Douglass, he never wanted to fight, he never wanted to really do anything militant. In,
Right.
in, in other in other words, he was always there to 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 uh, to celebrate and to support whatever white people wanted to do, or what white people thought was the best way to move. And that this made him, in a sense. So in a way, he was in a sense a magical Negro. You know, and I think this whole idea that we feel that we keep other black people safe by keeping the white man happy. I don't know if that's really possible. I don't think it's possible.
Is so my uncle once said about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. So he was like, "Do you want to be Martin Luther King or Malcolm X?" And he said, people who follow Martin Luther King turn the other cheek and did what they had to do so their generation can survive. So, in a sense, going radical with it, would that be a sense of keeping a white man happy, as far as like marching versus a Malcolm X tactic of going right hammer at them and calling them what they are in front of their face and shutting them down at conventions and doing that and so forth?
But I think that's a very complicated thing. Thank you, Teresa Miller, for the Cash App. Thank you.
That's
Send
what's up. I
you know
sure.
send Yoshi Mod one too. But
I
I
sure.
think that it's kind of complicated, very very complicated. Because see, you know, I don't know if we can really say that Martin Luther King was a magical Negro,
Mm,
and I don't even know if we can say that
mm,
Malcolm X was really would fit into this whole criteria. Because see, the main thing about this whole idea of the magical Negro, it seemed as though the thing was is that if you want black people to be safe, you had to do three things. Number one, you had to make sure that had to make sure that white people do not feel any discomfort. Number two, you got to make sure that white people do not feel any distress. And number three, you gotta find a way to placate white people and make them feel safe. And if
Mm,
they don't feel safe, excuse me, excuse me, they may harm you.
mm.
Excuse me, and I don't even know if that's really possible. I don't even know if that's really possible to really be in a process where you can do this. But what I found interesting about this film, how you doing, Karen,
What up,
Jalen,
Jalen?
JP? What up, though? I
Black.
think that I
What
think that what
up?
made it very interesting is,
Uh-huh.
is this whole idea of how do you do placate white people? How can you play that role? And in fact, this is what really made me think when you made me look at this film, which in a sense you should be ashamed of yourself making a brother look at this film who has talked about this whole idea of CAIDS, because the fact in a sense is that the magical Negroes were a perfect example of CAIDS. But at the same time, that film was scary. That film was scary
That was
because see,
horrible. Mm.
what made it scary to me, Yoshimon,
Oh.
is this whole idea that yes, these people they clearly had CAIDS. They were clearly, in a sense, making themselves being totally disrespected, being the footstool of these white people, and they wanted to make them always feel comfortable because they felt that they were saving black people. But I said, damn, man, are all of us are all of us in a way, even the most militant Negro, are all of us in a way magical Negroes? It made me start wondering.
That movie was something else, dude. It was something else. I watched it one deep. I didn't watch it with my wife or anything. I watched it alone. And when I watched it, I just was cringe because it was a person that had no backbone,
Hmm.
and they written a story from that perspective, and he was given these magical powers and he wasn't even really using them. He falling in love and tripping. The first woman that he get in contact with that show him any kind of affection, he falling in love. Nah, man, I didn't like that film. No, that film wasn't up my alley. It was written horribly. I didn't like it.
But it was written horribly. But again, in a sense, I think its whole theme was this idea is that is there a group of black people? Would you say that some of these black Republicans wouldn't they kind of in a way fit that magical Negro, want to keep the white man from feeling discomfort,
Oh
want to
yeah,
always make
yeah.
them feel in a sense safe?
And see that, and that's the thing with this. So, like, while watching the interview after watching the movie, I seen that this was from somebody experience. So every encounter that y'all seen where the dude had to calm the white dude down and some while they're panicking because they about to self destruct, the writer and that actor, Justice, actually went through that in their life, and they was like patting each other on the back and like really laughing and really bonding with each other over their white experience. And it I just seen that the word that came across my head was pathetic. It was just a pathetic display. I didn't like it. That's why it made me cringe because you know um they're justifying it, and they thought that the movie would reach so many other black people that would justify that we do need to rub their back and make them calm and cool and be their friends. And it goes back to 1970s where they used to say that the African American or the Negro you have to teach them because they don't know, they're like a child. So you got to nurture them and cater to them and make sure you teach them. And and what I see is vice versa in this film is us doing that to them. And it's an effect. I seen this as well, Baba. It's an effect where they say it was in another skit. I don't know what it was on, but I think it was on Netflix. And there was some black comedians, and they said that they had to help white folks. So they run to heal white folks when they're in need. So whenever there's a white folk in need, they need a black person to be there to lean on, to teach them, to give them their energy so they can feel good. And they teach the white people to keep one black person around to uplift their spirits when they're down. Sing a old Negro spiritual.
So in a way, you're saying that we do have a class of people that are magical Negroes. If
Oh
you're
yeah.
saying that the comedians and some of the other
Oh yeah.
entertainers, what have you.
Oh yeah. There's a lot. And I think what Dr. Short be on it big time. He be talking about them magical Negroes big time, rubbing their backs. He go after them. What's up, Eve? What's up? What's up, Dorvell? What's up? What's up, Karen? Man, what's
Do
happening?
you do
Earth
you,
Angel.
do you think in a way that also do you think that I felt that Jalen Prasad said, I think keeping the amo happy as black people can be more taxing on our souls and hurt us in the end because the amu will never be satisfied. I think that was obvious in the film
Yeah.
that the film was making that point that uh that that what make the film very important and and something that I never thought about is that the film make you have to admit that to maybe to white people we don't really exist. I think that was the thing about the film that was kind of a little scary is that we don't exist really in the eyes of white people. We're not really present. I thought that was quite interesting as from looking at the film, even though these people wanted to belong to that magical society and wanted to keep white people from not feeling discomfort. At the same time, it appeared as though the black people, in a sense, did not really exist to white people. That that
Hmm.
they that they weren't, in a sense, even recognized as being an entity
Mm.
involved in as being alive. I thought that was quite interesting from the film, the perspective of the film.
It did show that. It showed like how they was intervening. It was kind of unnatural in a sense, to where the black person is always being used as that, but don't even exist in their world
Mhm.
of creating or whatever it is that they're doing. Um, I said earlier that the film I didn't like how it was written. I guess if it's from his perspective and he hit it on a dial and his homeboy can relate to it, then well written. You did your thing on it because that's their perspective. And I hate to have that perspective. I guess it's like hearing a story from somebody who licked somebody bottom and they tell you how they licked the bottom, you know? Like I licked it like this and licked it like that. Or maybe it was a way for them to come out and say, well, we're tired of being like that. But when I looked at the interviews, I don't know if you got the interviews that I
No, I
sent you.
didn't look at the interviews.
Hopefully, we can play one of the interviews and we can show the people.
Do you
Uh,
have it? Do you have one available?
yeah, it's in your We Transfer.
Okay, let me see.
Set it right on to you. So I mean, I don't know, man. People being around black folks, being around white folks, just to keep them calm. I think that is just dangerous. And I think that being around anybody, being around gang members to keep them calm. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dang, man, the stuff that you have to do to be around something if you're caught in that situation where you can't move from that situation. But these guys had every opportunity given and they was having fun with these folks. If you look at the pictures and the clips, they was partying with these folks, having a good old jolly time. So, to rub their friends back so they won't self destruct. I guess they mean suicide. So the white folks won't commit suicide and everything is done and they won't be part of the team. I don't know. But
I thought that they felt in a sense is that by them intervening, they were keeping the white people from hurting us. Let's look at a scene from the show. Let's see if I can get one to show up.
This film, I'm calling it the new satirical film starring David Allen Greer because I'm afraid to say the word Negroes. Oh, shit, I just said it.
You know, it's so strange.
But tell me a little bit about this. Yeah.
Well, wait, it's so strange to me that I call Negro the other N word.
Maybe that's why I'm afraid to say it.
Wait, it's really not. I mean, it's amazing that people are afraid to say Negro, but not afraid to say. So that's the word you should be worried about.
Yeah, I don't say
Negro's fine. Don't worry about Negro.
Let me see if I can get that up. Boom.
see, that's why he was trying to clear it up with the word Negro. Because they made it a big issue with the box office on the word Negro.
Okay, let's see if we can play that again.
This film, I'm calling it the new satirical film starring David Allen Greer because I'm afraid to say the word Negroes. Oh,
Why?
shit, I just said it.
You know, it's so strange.
But tell me a little bit about this. Yeah.
Well, wait, it's so strange to me that I call Negro the other N word.
Maybe that's why I'm afraid to say it.
Wait, it's really not. I mean, it's amazing that people are afraid
So
Negro,
David
but not afraid to say. So that's the word you should be worried about.
Yeah, I don't say
Negro's fine. Don't worry about Negro.
You know, I thought that was a kind of beautiful example of Uncle Ramus, in the sense that that beat that is kind of very interesting. Let's see another scene, another interview.
We often see where a black character exclusively exists for the sole purpose of affirming a white lead.
And also, magical Negroes have a strange array of knowledge. Like they can fix like spaceships, golf swing, solve wars, but they have no family, no home. They just appear.
Yeah, that's right.
When I saw this film, I said, shit, I have to throw away my Legend of Bagger Vance VHS.
Well,
this guy here. It went blank. You hear me, Bubba? Dr. Clyde. It went mute when you went mute.
Oh, it did.
Yeah,
Oh,
when you went mute, it went mute.
yeah.
So David Allen Greer, JP say David Allen Greer grew up saying,
Let's see.
grew up in
Let's
the
see.
suburbs.
Let's see if he can. Let's try it again.
That dude grew up in the suburbs and he married a pink person. Dora Vale say that. So David Allen Greer married a pink person, grew up in the suburbs, and the two other guys' moms is white. So that's what's going on.
So let's see.
We often see where a black character exclusively exists for the sole purpose of affirming a white lead.
and all.
It cut off again. Go to the next clip. All Uncle Tom doing is talking about joking with the movie, playing golf and stuff like that. You hear me, Doc? This right here is showing the clip on how he got brought into it. See, that's the director right there. That's the dude. I know it ain't got no sound. I'm texting him right now. So that right there is a clip.
A world beneath our
There you
world
go.
where these black people use literal magical powers to support these white clients, and it's a satire that attacks the trope, but is also a very film literate audience, but I like to sort of say it in my own terms anyway. I think of the magical Negro as a black supporting character who doesn't have his or her own internal life. They're just there to support the white protagonist journey. And the film is a critique of that. It's a satire, and it imagines that being a magical Negro is just a real job you can go get. It's a secret underground society, a world beneath our world where these black people use literal magical powers to support these white clients, and it's a satire that attacks the trope, but is also a very fun sort of magical world beneath our world where we can just play and think about some of the
director is
that black people have to do to survive in America, and it's also
white.
A way to explore some of the defense mechanisms that I was taught about how to respond to racism and how to respond to white people and keep myself safe in America. And at its heart, it's also a love story about finding a person and finding people who look at you as a full three-dimensional person in a world and a culture that would rather reduce you to a stereotype.
How did Kobe get you on this project?
You know, this is something that needs to be discussed because there are magical Negroes out there, I believe. There are these black people who feel that they should be supportive, but it seems as though, you know, this is a big problem, and historically, it's a big problem when you have biracial children.
Mm-hmm.
It seems as though when you have biracial children, sometimes sometime in a sense they're not able really to relate. They're not able really to relate to society.
They can't relate, and that's the thing. The gap is so big. The dude said right in that interview what that dude said, I'm giving y'all my experiences on how I was able to stay safe being a black man. And then he gave this look like he finna cry or some chickadee. Man, get out of here, dude. That dude wildin', man. That dude tried to use one of his little stories of events that happened to him and make some bread off of it because him and his colleagues got together and did all that. They funded that stuff.
But you know, but the thing is, this is that I don't really know because to me he was saying that you had to be a magical Negro if you're going to be around white people. Most of us don't really have to interact with white people that much. I know you may have went to a mixed school, but most of us, in a sense, I went to all black school. When I went to a white university, but at the white university, in a sense, it was some black people to relate to, but I was mainly there to study and to learn, and then we party over the weekend, you know. But the thing is, this is that, you know, it seems as though in a way, some of that I think corresponds to how you have to live if you're going to be a part of living in that white community, man. You know, what else did you? Let's see one of your other.
I became a part of this during the Sundance Labs. Kobe reached out to my team and asked if I could fly out and workshop the script with him. And I read the script and I loved it. I was a little too young for it at the time, but it was the first time I'd seen my racial experience reflected accurately. And when I met Kobe, I was like, oh, this man is a spitting image of me. I was like, that makes sense why we have the same racial experience. It's so tragic that I had never experienced the liberation of working with someone who looks like you. You know, there's a shorthand that you can have with them, you know, that it just frees you up to like explore and play. And I'm really proud of my performance in this film, but I owe it all to Kobe because of how comfortable and free he made me feel. Not just because he's an incredible director, but because he understands me at a deeper level. It's more rare for people of color to experience that, like, wow, I don't have to explain myself, you know? I can just be
and you get it. Yeah, it's the usual path. My manager.
Again, we see, if you notice, again, we see that so really they loved that film because they felt that film was an aspect of their own existence, their own life, because most of us don't really experience that. And so I found the movie interesting. I can see the CAIDS, culturally acquired immune deficiency syndrome. And the thing is, this is that, but let's really look at this though. In a way, when we think about CAIDS, it's culturally acquired identity immune deficiency syndrome, and so the Black person loses his identity, or she loses her identity. But the point is, this is that from looking at this film, it makes you imagine that many mixed race kids, they don't really have an intact identity. That they live in a sense, they live without an identity, and that they're searching for an identity in a way. To me, I don't know what did you get from the film?
That sounds like it because I being around because when you're light skinned, people put you in the light skin bucket, and it's like all light skinned people are the same. But then you got the reds, you got the yellows, and you got the pretty boys, and you got the them street ones. And being around you could be around certain light skinned folk and tell if their parents is their mother is white or black. And by them having a white mother, it does come off a little different.
So you feel it's the mom that really create the disassociation in terms of a lack of an intact identity. So you're saying
I really do. I think that because like in America how they believe that if you come from the man, that makes you, that man's son or daughter. But I believe if you come from the mother, and if we go back to the African roots, if you whatever mother you come from, whatever tunnel you come out of, that makes you that. But it all depends on if that parent embraces that culture as well. So that lifestyle that we live, if they don't embrace it, and just like Obama, um, President Obama, his mother is white, so he can't relate to us. I know that the reason why I say it, Baba, because I see it as a pattern. I see that whenever these people don't have a solid black mother or a mixed black mother, or if if they don't have that, that kid is really kind of like how we say kind of disattached
a
from
disassociation.
it's a disassociation for real.
Yeah.
That's big time.
But again, in a sense, is that did you have another good scene from the show that you'd like me to show, or?
Oh, that was all of them.
Here's another one.
And had he told me, well, this is the first time director like Kobe, and this is a young white director, I know I would have said no, just because I'm tired, man. Yeah. And, I'm serious. Yeah. And I'm not, I just would not have wanted to anticipate explaining myself to this artist. I'm someone else will be better. So that was really the motivating thing for me. And also, I'm 67. I really want to reach back and work with young artists of color, different voices, different points of view. This was quirky, but it was a wonderful experience. It really was. It was great.
So it seems like to me that this is I think that this movie is important. And the reason I think this movie is important is because I don't think I've ever seen a movie that really discusses the disassociation that many mixed kids grow up with in terms of having that white mom, and that it appears to me in a sense that it's very difficult to have an intact identity if you grow up in a mixed race family. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know neither. My mama black and my daddy black, so I don't know. Uh, but the skin tone that I got, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and we was discussing Spanish people on how they treat me, and how I used to be at the bus stop, and they'll speak Spanish, and if I don't speak Spanish back, they'll start cursing me out and talking about how my mama ain't this, how my mama ain't that, or dad ain't this for not teaching. The Africans go through the same thing. The Mexicans in America go through the same thing when they're in Mexico. So being black and light skinned, not able to fit in, I think that I think that's a little bit. I don't know, man. I think as you get older, it's a little bit by choice because you will know where you want to slide in at or where you do not want to slide in at. I think they have more than a choice than others. So when we see one of them choosing the white road of supremacy, I think we look at it as like a failure. Like, dang, man, that's one of them. One of them again. So you got to check their background. So it fails us in a sense when we choose that because I don't give, these two dudes, they're grown, man. So I don't look at them as babies. I don't look at them as mentally something happened to them. These dudes write scripts and they're actors, and I'm pretty sure they made good grades in school, and they knew what the hell they was doing by making these decisions, and they thought that shit was cool and smooth. Well, they got together, made a film, and got with old buddy, and he's married to a white chick. So they got together and they put the film out, and all of them thought it was cool. So, nah, I don't. And hearing it from their perspective, by me growing up around certain light skinned folk, like JP said, Malcolm X, dad was uh what what she say? I'm not mixed. I'm just as white as Malcolm X was. I have a white grandmother. And just like Malcolm, I denounced every drop of that and claim my the
Dravidian.
Rivian, yeah, the Rivian. I feel that and FBA heritage, no matter how light I am, I love that. So, like, all right, that's what I could dig it, because you had that choice. These people of mixed color, they grow up, and if they're under a white mother and that white mother is telling them some fabrications, and they end up waking up and knowing that it's fabrications, well, they got a choice to make. Do I want to still live this white route, or do I want to go the black route? And I think Obama was like, man, I'm gonna still go the white route. And I think this guy up in this film, he's going the white route. I think a lot of them want to pat their back and like, man, we just want to be cool around these people. And I don't think that's cool. So I believe there's a distinction between patting some white folk back and like brushing them off. So killing them with kindness. So not rushing into hate and loving that person even though they don't love themselves. I don't believe that that is a form of the black magical Negro society because your intentions is I know that if we escalate, we ain't gonna get nowhere in this confrontation anyhow. Versus I'ma rub your back because I don't want you to cause a war with me because I need you to be calm so you can have a good day tomorrow. I'm gonna get you a bagel, and some cheese, some cream cheese, and some coffee, and you're gonna be cool. So
That's
that
right. Get them that coffee, man. And that bagel, baby. Got to get them a bagel.
right, you gotta give them a bagel. So that's the difference between the two of the kissing ass and I'm cool with you and I'm gonna kill you with kindness. Like F you at the end of the day. I ain't got time to be wasting my energy on you because a lot of them, the vampires we had in the comments, they talked about the vampires. They sucking your energy, sucking your, because when they confrontate with you and get you to amp up and get live, man, they eat all that energy, man. That's good energy feast. That's a good feast for them, man.
But like it's always social vampires, people in a sense who take away energy from you. But what I found very interesting is that it seemed as though the people who made the film, they felt very very comfortable, and
They
they
did.
wanted to let us know. And I mean, in a way, didn't that give us a insight into how those people think?
It
Wasn't it?
did.
Isn't it?
It did. And they picked the right little dude for it because he does look scrawny and weak. And I really don't. To be honest, fam, I know it's B1 all day, but I don't like that dude character. His demeanor is weak. It's no backbone. Every film he's been in, has been some weakling thing going on to where he's cloudy in the head, but he's smart. And then he's cloudy, and then he's dingy and smart. I don't like that up and down goofiness about him. That it's a nerdy. I just don't like it. So
But
yeah,
if they don't have an identity, if 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 they're saying that they grow up, if they have a white mom, that they grow up without an identity,
yeah.
they grow up without really knowing in a sense that they know they're black now. They know they're black.
Hmm.
They know that they're different.
They know they got privilege too.
Yeah, privilege
They
is
know they
important.
got privilege. Yeah, they like you said. They black, and we know they got privilege because remember I said earlier they made that choice, but they lean more on that white privilege than anything. They don't. You think them dudes got white women's, man, white wives. They not. You know how they say the albino goes back to the original color. It don't.
Uh-huh.
It don't mate with the other albinos. Because it's a sin against nature. Well, they're not. These two guys are not going back to color. They're not going back to black. They going to lighten their future generations up. And I don't know, but even if they do have a black woman, I'm pretty sure she is gullible and white as they goddamn me is. Hopefully she a sister, but I ain't check into that. I may need to. But yeah, that privilege, man, I seen it. I didn't have that privilege. I didn't want that privilege growing up. I wasn't white. I didn't claim it. It wasn't me. When I opened up my mouth, they already knew what I was. But I met some mixed guys that would talk and be gee whiz, golly Bob, oh goddamn me Joe. I mean, they really getting it in. So I met them and I'm not cool with them. I mean, they had privilege. They did radical shiggity. I didn't do radical stuff. Nah, man, I can't. My life is precious. People bungee jumping, skydiving, all that's in Houston. You'll hear about it all. So you hear it, see it, and I don't intervene. But nah, I don't be around it. So I mean, if he put himself around it, it ain't time for me to be around it yet. But when I do be around it, it let me know what kind of guys to look out for because this guy character is a character. He has that game character, like he sits in front of the game all day and he get a little dirty, cheeseburgers, don't work out. He calls his mom every day and asks her for advice on relationships. This look like this kind of guy, and I met these kind of guys, these dudes like that. Nothing wrong with them, cool dudes, but um, I guess film has changed, man, because you look for a Hollywood film and you looking for something to be, cool to watch. And then these little dweebs get up here and make this film. And I was like, God dang, man, I feel y'all perspective, but damn, man, that's a waste of goddamn money, man. I need to make a goddamn me film, Baba. Look, if I had that money, man, Baba will be good, man. I make a top notch film, man. What?
You know, Jalen said that most mixed race men of the day are getting with white girls because they love their white mamas. I think in a sense is that that sometimes that may be true,
Hmm.
but I think that it comes down to what you brought up earlier too, is this whole idea of privilege. Is that they have the privilege, because I heard one day I was listening to some mixed race people, and they were talking about the fact, why can't I be white? Why do I have to be black? Why can't I be white? And I thought that was really weird, in the sense that you can't be white because they're not going to accept you because you're darker than hair's a little bit more kinkier, or you or somehow you don't have that whiteness, and yet I think that this is a very confused time, and there's so many mixed. I think it's more mixed kids today than any time in history. I don't know.
I met the mixed kids that I met. A thought came across my head. They have pretty skin, right? But some of them don't bathe correctly. A lot of them don't brush. They do like nasty stuff. Like they lean more on that other side of hygiene. Think they could get away with not bathing like dogs and stuff and doing creature stuff. And I learned that from them. And they don't have relationships. They mate with other women and stuff. Them are maters. They go out there and mate. Them people, that's one thing I did learn about them. Because I remember I think you and Eve had a show where y'all was talking about how they don't bathe, right?
Yeah,
And I had an experience like that, right? I was invited to a homeboy house, me and my other partner, Black, I'll say to you. And we was young. We was like 18 years old probably. And I ended up drawing a picture for him or something, and we went swimming, and it was time to wash off. So I said, "Hey man, where the shower at? Over there? All right, cool. Let me get a washcloth." A washcloth. I said, "Yeah, let me get a washcloth." A washcloth. It's like a face towel. So my homeboy intervened, like, "Yeah, man, y'all don't wash y'all ass with a
no,
washcloth, So we got a face cloth, and we washed our ass with it.
but I
Season
think I think that's one of the things that really shocked the hell out of really shocked the hell out of me was when the tennis lady, when she talked about her husband didn't know how to use a face rag. And I said, I thought everybody knew how to wash up with a face rag, and many of the black girls in a sense that I know that have talked about their hygiene, they usually use two towels. They don't
Yeah.
use the same towel
No, you don't.
to clean
No. Uh-uh.
their vagina and
No.
their anus. They don't use the
No.
same towels.
No. The face towel is thinner and lighter,
Yeah,
and the bad towel is thicker, and then
yeah,
the dry towel is big, and then you have the hand towel, which is a medium dry towel. Then you got in the kitchen your wash towels, and them wash towels you don't mix them with your clothes towels. You wash them separately with your towels that you dry off the dishes with. So them towels are washed separately from your clothes and your wash
yeah,
towels and all that other stuff. You got to do that separately.
yeah.
But yeah, man, I was looking at a video on Bobby Hemmett, and Bobby Hemmett said he was up north, and growing up as a kid, he didn't know that they didn't teach him to use a washcloth, and it was somebody down south taught him to wash his tail with a washcloth. And he found that anybody that didn't he found that he because he wasn't taught, that a lot of people are misled up north for not knowing how to wash. So it's just not uncommon um with white folks down here doing it for us to see them
Yeah.
using them.
But
Yeah.
like my parents, they taught us that we had to use a washcloth, and but they were from Mississippi. And
Yeah.
thing is, this is that so I grew up in the North, but
Mhm.
I think this whole idea of hygiene. Lisa Cabrera, she was doing a show today, and she was talking about lice,
Mm.
and she was talking about how it's very how a lot of Europeans have lice in their hair,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, they do.
sometimes have all type of insects
Yeah.
in their
Yeah.
hair, and
Yeah.
then she was getting a little sick talking about it. But the thing is, this is that I mean, how can you really take that stuff? How can you really take it? Just like today, I don't know, the only way, in a sense, you can learn about the world is sometimes looking at the videos, and they talk about now some of the sisters don't like to keep themselves clean, and I mean, damn that. Growing up, I never saw that, and the black women around me, they keep themselves clean. So I don't know where these women are, but they say it's a lot of funky people out there,
It
a lot of
is.
nasty women out there that
So
are really trying to take care of themselves.
I was looking at one of your shows, and you was saying about the black, like the plague, and how the
Yeah,
white folks, they pretty much brought the plague to us. A lot of times, when we hear them killing off us indigenous folks in America, it was by disease,
yeah,
and we ask, okay, what is this disease? All right, if everybody is in the world, every human, and then you got this population of people carrying diseases, why? So then we go back in history and find out that they didn't know how to bathe back then. They was sleeping with the animals, and they didn't build a fence around their barns, and then they had everything in their yard.
yeah,
And we had to teach them about that and teach them how to bathe. And then we hear about when they did take over the castles and they took over the throne, how they was the nastiest kings and how they didn't brush their teeth and all that after we departed. So this is a people of nasty descent. I seen the lady in Cushton, whatever, the girl from Family Guy, Meg, the voice of Meg. She was talking about how she don't bathe and how she wash her coop once a month or whenever it get the smelling in her underarm. And these people, man, like, man, dude, it's messed up because it's a lot of them, and that's what happened with the COVID and all that. So a disease spreads when people are dirty. So it hit. If you look at COVID, man, it hit the dirtiest parts in the world first. I'm just being real. It hit India. That was like the first one. It was really going ham in India. In
China,
China. Oh yeah,
yeah.
it hit. China was crazy. These people, when you see them, they digging in they crack on news. They Indians, the food that they eat in the Ganges rivers, and Chinese people just in the streets, nasty. You know what I'm saying? It's just a whole bunch of illness going on, and then when it hit United States, it hit New York, and we hear about how nasty. We've been hearing about how I never been to New York, but I've been hearing about how nasty New York is since I was a kid. Rats in the streets, homeless people, people on the block want your money, the alleyways with the smoke coming from them, and just danger, danger, danger. And you like, man, ain't nobody want to go to no goddamn New York. Who the heck want to live in New York, and why are they repping New York? And it's always like this. People always rep the funkiest places. France and Italy. I just seen the goddamn Eiffel Towers and stuff, and they did a whole tour through France and stuff. France nasty and dirty. The reason why they be promoting France because France got their neck on Haiti, and
And
they doing
they make all that they make that good perfume, man.
that
Come
good
on now.
perfume. Yeah, they do
Yeah.
make that good perfume. I dig that. But you know what I'm saying? But I noticed that with a lot of places, New Orleans, people be repping New Orleans like I'm from that NO. I'm from. You got to go to Bourbon Street. Man, that place stank. It smelled like piss and fart and beer and liquor. it ain't no place to go. I went down there and it was like an alcoholic's throw up dream. If you ever like to throw up on yourself, walk down Bourbon Street because you're gonna smell it. It's gonna be piss and everything to brighten up your day. Didn't like it. So it be the places that people hype up the most. Las Vegas, another one. I went there. It be the places people hype up the most. Be the funkiest, nastiest places to attend to that you don't want to go. Go to them quiet places that nobody talk about. They'll be the cleanest, unheard, sanitized, and all that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, chemistry magic. He brings up an important point. He says that opposites attract. I think it's a high percent of dark skinned and African men pursuing light skinned and white women. I think about the fact that my father, he was real light, he had gray eyes,
Mhm.
and the good hair and all that type of stuff. And then my mother was dark, and then
Okay.
and in fact, my grandmother and some other people said that he kind of brought down the winners. But again, I mean, hey, because most of them married light skinned people in a sense, and so we did have this color thing. I don't really think the color thing is gone. I think the color thing
Nah.
still exists. I think people still operate off of this whole idea of color. The lighter you are, sometimes, the better you are. I mean, just like when I was growing up, everybody, a lot of the girls wanted to have Puerto Rican guys, even though there wasn't no Puerto Rican near the damn near the community, you know. But yes, sirs,
Thank you,
you know,
Teresa. Appreciate it. I can't show it, but yeah, it's there. Thank you.
yeah,
Appreciate it. Yeah, all
yeah,
right. So I think people just want when they say opposites attract, we're keeping it in our same race, but going with different shades. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
My wife is darker than me,
yeah.
but she's also smaller than me. So I mean, I don't know if you want to put that into equation. I married somebody the total opposite. She's little
Yeah, I used to I
and
used to think short girls were
yeah,
pretty, but
well,
my wife was about what 5'4", between 5'4" and 5'6". But I always, the short girls always did look the cutest. I'll admit.
hold up.
You know, I think
You
that's why I think
you
that's why a
you
lot
like
of
six
times.
seven, ain't you?
No, I'm only six. I'm only 6'2".
Uh-huh.
When I was in college.
Every woman smaller you unless you're a basketball player playing volleyball.
I heard that, but see, in college, when they listed me in the
College,
on
yeah.
in the bulletin for the football team, they had me at 6'3", but I'm only 6'1".
6'3", I bet
But they had me as 6'3". They always lie. But again,
you.
the thing is this though is that the thing is this: I did always think that the short women were pretty. I always thought I was going to marry a short woman, but I didn't. I married
Right.
somebody that was much taller. But again, in a sense, I just like pretty women. If you were pretty, damn, hey, come my way, baby.
That's
You know,
it. That's it.
yes, sirs, yes,
But
sirs.
opposites do attract, y'all.
Yeah,
I can say that, but when it comes to this CAIDS stuff, rubbing another person back, thinking that and especially knowing that that person is probably supremacy related because these people are not rubbing ordinary white people back. They're ordinary TikTok, walking TikTok bombs and shit. They're messing with them. The people that'll shoot up the place, nervous breakdown, go crazy. So they doing that. So like you said, you made it to the end of the film and you made it to it twice. Kudos to you because it was a horror film. I was like this some of the time. I was like, please don't do that. Hell no. Hell no. Did he just he didn't say that. And it was just horrible on the ears and my soul wanted to lash shot into the television and choke somebody. I was getting like that for a few, Baba. Maybe I was wrong, man.
no, you weren't. You were right. But see, I had to look at the film. We were going to discuss it. I had to look at the film from the perspective of what was it all about. I had to see it to
Right.
understand that what it was talking about in the sense that the main theme is that you had to keep white people socially at ease. You had to make them feel in a sense, that you had to give up your pride as a black person white people comfortable, or they'll hurt you. And so then I think that what it was saying is that if you really want, in a sense, black people to be safe, you have to, in a sense, you have to have that magical Negro to keep the white people
Ooh.
calm. For example, just like when we look at Django, when we look at Django, God had a brother in there to kind of, he was in a sense a magical Negro, in the sense that he was there in a sense to he was a devil, but at the same time he was that magical Negro. He was there in a sense to be supportive of massa, be supportive in a sense of the higher authority. But I think that what I liked about this movie is that see I saw this movie as a teaching instrument. And what it is that, I've always had my perception, when I went to university, when I be around, people who have white parentage, you don't really know what they're thinking about. And what I liked about this movie is that this movie was really, this was in a sense a movie that was written from the perspective of how people like Greer, who's married to a white woman, those young people who had white mothers, is written from the perspective of that mixed child that has a white mother, and how that white mother is influencing them, and how that white mother, in a sense, is creating in a sense can I say it? It's kind of a cardboard identity. What I mean by a cardboard identity,
She fucked them kids up.
yes, she did, but they do, but at the same time, in a sense that themselves as being in any way, they don't see themselves as being in any way not having an intact identity. Whereas I see a disassociation, but in a way, I think we're all magical Negroes. Sandra Hinton, she's brought this idea that double consciousness, this whole idea of double consciousness, is really a mental illness. And because it's a mental illness because we go through a process of disassociation. But then if you do notice, even your most militant brother, when they get around white people, they change their voices. They try to be more in a sense explicit. They try to make sure that they pronounce the words much more distinctly, because they just feel, that even when you're a militant Negro, you're still, in a sense, you become a magical Negro through that whole idea of double consciousness. And I have to admit, when you think about it, that double consciousness is, in a sense, it is a mental illness, because you're trying to change your ideas and your reflection and how you relate to people based on the fact that they're white, and you feel you got to accommodate them. You have to make them feel comfortable, and the way you make them feel comfortable is you feel you got to talk the language a little bit more different. You got to talk proper, or you got to, in a sense, in some way, change your whole way of being. And I thought that was interesting, because see, in this particular film, they talked about the fact that is a magical Negro. But I thought that whenever we go through that process of trying to code switch, that we're becoming a magical Negro. Because instead of, in a sense, just remaining, standing 10 toes down,
there you go,
and being who we are, we change how we talk, we change how we communicate. And I think that this shows, in a sense, that many of us show those tendencies. But I think this whole idea is that when you listen to those interviews, when you had those interviews that you wanted me to show, when you put that director and you put that actor together, you see how they're really living a lifestyle that they were brought into by their mothers.
by their mother. You can tell that. You can tell it wasn't them a black experience. It was a confused experience. A lot of them are confused, man. They don't know. They don't know what's going on, man. But I say they are aware of what's going on when they get older. The director looked like he's in his late 40s, so he had that experience, that time to mingle with us to see what's up. So
Mhm.
no pass. And the younger guy, I think he said he got that role when he was in his teens or something like that. But he don't get no pass right now, because he's older now. He know what he doing now. He making little weird films now.
Yeah.
That film to me, I believe, was a ritual in a sense. They had to make a movie like that to disrespect so many people and give they little. I really don't like the film still,
Yeah.
Bob. I know you watched it twice, but I told you to watch it because I was at ease with it. But I feel like looking at what David Greer talked about when he said he wanted to be in the Grammys. He never been in the Grammys, and he's getting old. And he said, "Well, I wanted to be." My people reached out to them, or they reached out to me, and I read the script and was like, "This would be a good way to do it."
But why
And
why would he think being Uncle Tom, what we would call Uncle Tom or Uncle
yeah,
Ramus,
yeah,
would make him win an Academy Award is that goes past me. I don't understand.
because it's the same thing of what Denzel did. Denzel didn't win nothing until he did Training Day or some or Flight or some way. He had to sleep with that white woman, and then he was out there. A lot of these guys, their characters. Another one of the guys. I want you to watch this movie. Have you seen it? The Book of Clarence.
Uh, I've tried to watch it, but I can't get through the first 10 minutes. Uh,
Why is that?
I don't know. Jalen says, sorry to say, but that white mothers don't love you. I don't know if they don't love their children. I think in a sense they love their children, but they be trying to teach them a way to survive, and they feel the best way to survive is always play up to white people, then white people won't harm you. Like I was thinking the other day,
Hmm.
I was thinking about Magic Johnson's son. How he's gay,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
and then I was thinking about how these brothers, in a sense, when they move into those white neighborhoods and they're rich and they're millionaires, how they sons, you know, a lot of their sons, in a sense, they turn out to be gay,
It's an attack.
transsexual.
Yeah, it's an attack. So they attack them young guys and young girls, and if they if their parents are not there and they're not strong enough to have that distinction between I need you to be straight because I want you to have kids and carry on a legacy. This is all about survival in this camp. Then these kids are easily being
Yeah.
manipulated and they're trying new stuff, especially when they try different drugs, when they're going through different phases, when their
But
parents are not there to be a friend and they're leaning on,
but I
you know,
but I was
the
but I was
streets.
think but I was thinking about it. I was thinking about that when you think about the magical Negro.
Hmm.
I was thinking about the fact that maybe some of those kids who like Magic Johnson's son and it's another person, their son, and become transsexual, whatever. It seems like a lot of them, I think, become gay because they're accepted more if they give up all pride. If they become that magical Negro, I think they really believe. I don't think their parents communicate with them feelings of having pride in themselves. I don't think their parents talk to them about having any self esteem, and they just let their kids just go to these mixed schools or these white schools without giving their kids any sense of identity. Because some people go to white schools, and then when they come out, they still have an intact identity.
Hmm.
Whereas some of these rich people who send their kids to these schools and then they come out being gay because I'm not going to tell a lie. I didn't want any of my sons to be gay, and
Right.
so they said that a lot of times the boys become gay because their fathers don't hug them. So I try to hug my kids and kiss them on the cheek and shit. kiss them on the cheek. Hey, 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 hey. Spend some
Look,
time with them.
they're gonna attack the kids.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's all about the kids, how strong the kid's mind are. So if you know your kid mind is not strong and you send him out there or send her out there knowing that she's gonna be attacked by these people, then you got some explaining to do, you got some
Do you think
nurturing to
that
do.
you think that people like Magic Johnson, they don't really feel that they should about how to deal with white
Well, no,
people?
no, 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 no. All right, so we're talking about Holly weird. So it's a whole nother ball
I'm talking
game.
about, but it looked like when they send their kids to these schools, they don't look like their kids want to remember what did Dr. Frances Wilson say? She said that Dr. Frances Wilson said that the goal of white society is to turn a black person into a gay person or a homosexual.
Yeah, I
She said
believe
that's
that.
their
Yeah,
goal.
I
And and
believe that.
so and so then and so then so then when you look at some of these people and they sent their kids to school and their kids, these rich people send their kids to school and their kids have no identity. That is something wrong there. Something wrong
Brother,
there. You know.
Magic Johnson was in that, how I picture him, around a bunch of white folks. Like he wanted to be OJ Simpson type.
Uh-huh.
That's how I picture him. And by him being in that lifestyle back then when I was growing up, seeing him, after he played and the movie theaters and all that stuff and accusations and curing himself and all that, um, he was in that lifestyle. And in that lifestyle, he brought his son around around weirdos. All right.
Yeah.
So when you bring your kids around, all right, this is when you let your guard down. You bring your friends over and your friends are transformers, decepticons. They dressed up. Your kids see that, they grow up around it. You're not telling, I guarantee you ain't saying, hey son, don't look at them, that ain't that, they're your friends. You ain't judging your friend. If you got past the queerness, you're not judging no more. And I'm sorry, the judging is what closes doors and what keep people in line, because you're able to look at the person and say, hold on, it's a lot of stuff going on with you. A lot of that dragness come from trauma. It come from pain. It come from hurt. It come from something happened to them when they was a child. That stuff ain't natural. It come from being lonely. It come from not being nurtured. You can't tell me that stuff is natural. So when you bring it around your kids, you're exposing it to your kids. So we could look at Jada Pinkett kid, Jada, and
Yeah.
both of them.
I never forget when their daughter was with somebody 26 years old. What the hell is this?
But I
Had a 26 year
understand
old
it.
boyfriend, and
I understand it because you're in Holly weird. When you're in Holly weird and you know that marriages are put together, like Jennifer Lopez and Puffy,
yeah,
that was put together. You can't
yeah,
tell me that that dude really was in love with her and he in love with her. All right, no. Jay-Z and Beyonce, come on, man. You can't tell me that stuff wasn't put together and they made it happen now. You know what I'm saying? They making it happen. They put money together and say, how much would yours be and how much would yours be? Can you imagine if y'all put y'all ends together and do this? This is highly weird. And if you do this and do that, then we'll do this for you. And then they got sex tapes. When you hear sex tapes being leaked, it's not because it's literally being leaked, it's because people breaking contracts and it's being leaked because it's a contract. It's, we had you to do this sex tape, and now you disrespecting us. We're gonna put the sex tape out and put your character down. You ain't gonna be this angel no more. We're gonna put you down. Taylor Swift happened to F up and push the button. She got a sex tape coming out. She probably already got one. But that's what I'm saying though, Baba. Like that Holly weird stuff, it's a different statue, a different limit. Eddie Murphy being caught with transformers. people coming out saying that he's bisexual, but the dude got kids. Will Smith have tapes showing that he's fruity with other men's and he does fruity stuff and he got kids, but people always like to justify their actions and say, well, they got kids. And then you got a left wing Baba that's saying, well, we ain't worried about all them, their personal life. And why you judging them on their personal life? We just looking at the actor. Well, the reason why I look at that is because the actor reflects on the character behind that. Because when these kids get the kids that don't think like you get to learn who that actor is or who that singer is, they learn a lifestyle. And when they learn a lifestyle, they imitate that because they want to reach that success. If people found out that Michael Jackson ate some balls every time before he got on stage and did a performance, you know how many kids gonna be lining up one to lick some balls?
I do.
You see what I'm saying? So
I do believe that because I noticed when I was teaching that the kids in a sense who kind of was a little, like that. A lot of those kids were kids who wanted to be in entertainment, and they felt that that was part of being an entertainer, was being in a sense in that lifestyle. But I'm gonna show a few commercials for a while.
So
Let's
go. Get y'all glasses of water, man. We getting deep with this. Hey,
I heard that.
So
dreamy.
Hey, I've just written a new book, History and Culture of the Black Aboriginals of America. Yes, I've written a new book. This book is called History and Culture of Afro-Americans. It's about the Aboriginal Americans. It's about the first people who inhabited America. Many people don't know about our great culture, this super culture that we created, but I discuss this book. In 489 pages, you'll find out so much information, great information, about, in a sense, what the Aboriginal foundational Black Americans did. You're going to see, in a sense, that Black people contributed much here. When the first Europeans got here, that's what they found. Yes, they found Black Aboriginals inhabiting the Americas. It was the Black Aboriginals that built this country. This is why you had to get my book. Get my book, History and Culture of the Aboriginal Blacks of the Americas. In this book, you will find out the truth. You will know what we created. You will know who we are. Get this book. Buy it now.
What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB, or find me on X at Justice4JustUs. That's JUSTICE 4 JUST_US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first.
Today is today. We need to homeschool our children due to white supremacy. In many states, education departments are passing laws to deny our children from learning the history of foundational Black Americans. Today, you can learn how to organize and teach your children in a homeschool in my book, A Guide to Homeschool Foundational Black Americans. You can use my book, History of Blacks in America from Prehistory to 1877, to teach our children their history here in the United States. You can use my book to teach world history. And this book I've written is called The World History of the Black World. This will teach your children about every Black civilization in the world. Get this book. The time is now. Get these books to teach your children about their greatness, to prevent them from losing confidence in their own ability to learn and be successful future adults in employment and education.
Since the gold touch your heart with a dinner roll
rose. Shake the spirit one time, it gets so close. She gon' take me out of space into another zone. Free spirit, she ain't messing with them petty hoes. Microwaves and cobalt outside her phone. Fucking in that vibe and smoking good on that drone. Call me eat the night with the cuz all up in a fro. This queen approach, she gon' drop it low to the flow. You know she liquid gold with the alchemy in the bowl. Trippy super soul is the greatest tale never told. She gon' get you right, you can set up when your goals. You gon' spend the night in the harmonize with your toes. You know she's super fine in the aura down to her bones. Super magic fairy, I'm lost in the rituals. She give me life like butterflies on the rose. Really original, ain't nothing like cracker trolls. Hidden in the clothes, an extraterrestrial. And she never fold, drop crackers up in the throat. She drink your wine, she rock you up like a pole. And she spark my mind with intellectual pose. Shake butter oils and linger up in your nose. Independent goddess, like rhythm up in the soul.
Yellow honey, drip slow. Sweet agave, at the toe. Independent finance, wine, citrus mist. My Wonder Woman, I wonder how to.
Buy my book, Nationality and the Law. In this book, we discuss the importance of race and identity among many African Americans. I explore the genesis of the so-called blacks from an ethnogenesis of Black Irish, Black Aboriginals, and Sub-Saharan Africans. In this book, you will understand how they were separated into two races and why we call, in a sense, the Caucasian race the white race today. Buy my book, The Nationality and the Law. You'll enjoy it. Buy my book, Atlantis in Mexico. In Atlantis in Mexico, you will learn about the great Olmec civilization of Mexico. Yes, the Olmec civilization of Mexico. In this book, I tell you about how it was the Olmecs who invented the calendar that are used by the Maya today. It is the Olmecs who are the mother culture of Mexico. Buy my book, Atlantis in Mexico. Learn about the Olmecs. Learn about their civilization. Learn about the wonders that they left the Mexican people. You can purchase my book at Amazon.com.
Supplemental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story, and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
Support Yoshima Productions. You got to support this brother. This is the brother who he's a genius. He'll make the right stuff for you. Again, it's kind of check out some of those products and those services because you can use them because we don't want you guys to these magical Negroes. We don't want you to lose your identity. We don't want you to suffer from CAIDS because it is so easy. It is so easy because this whole idea is that what you hate about thinking about this about the magical Negro is the fact that all of us a lot of times in a sense we don't really look at the fact that sometimes we do accommodate white people too much. We do just by trying to talk different when we're around them, trying to make everything so explicit and trying to just they can go in any black community and nobody touch them. But you go growing up in Chicago, certain white communities, I knew if I knew back when I was a teenager, I knew if I was found on a street called Cicero out south, I might not come home. I might not come home because those white folks do not like you being in their neighborhoods. But when you're that magical Negro, you're so really always ready to accommodate them. But I think a lot has to do, just like a lot of people in the chat has brought up this whole idea of these white moms. That a lot of times it's these white moms that may be the ones in the sense that they really help create these magical Negroes.
Yeah, it's the white mother. And I seen it firsthand. When they had a white mother and they don't choose. Or they choose and they go to that white side. All right, in my family, we have a separation in our family. So on my dad's side, that I really don't know too much of, but they from Mamou, Louisiana, and they have the lighter side and they had a darker side.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that could pass for white, they pretty much married white women and separated themselves from the family. They have their own family reunions where they do white stuff. And then you have the black side of the family where when they have their family reunion, they're looking for the other white side because they're not the ones that's putting that divide up. It's normally when they're lighter, they put that divide up. The darker is like, hey, I just want to be there. We family. The lighter is I'm better than you syndrome. And if they can get that just like Stacey Dash. We all like Stacey Dash growing up. Very pretty, the prettiest thing ever. But Stacey Dash picked that white side and she wanted to go down that white road, and they pretty much humiliated her. They had her on a puppet on the string, she barely naked doing stuff, just doing ignorant things, not representing us at all.
But wasn't she also a tether? A tether, for those who don't know, a tether is a person who comes from an immigrant background, and they really relate to foundational Black Americans because they feel that we're always too subjective and we're always feeling that we have to be against white people or we have to protect ourselves from white people. A lot of tethers, they feel in the sense that they feel like they're magical Negroes. They feel they're safe around white people, and they feel in the sense that white people won't harm them, and that they should really be afraid of other Black people. So I thought she was a very cute girl, but she's mixed up. She's very mixed up.
She bad now. She messed up real big time.
Yeah.
I had a friend, man. I worked with him on a boat, and on a boat, when I'm around him, he's talking on my lingo. Man, hey, nigga, go ahead and go get that, man. Hey, put that rope around there. But then after we got off work and we went to a bar to hang out, and the bar that he chose was like this country white bar, a redneck bar. Wasn't nothing wrong with it. We just went there to drink. I'm listening to him talk. His whole attitude changed. Dude started talking country and white. And it messed my head up because I seen code switching in front of me. And then he looked at me like, what, Nick? And I'm like, yeah, something wrong with that. It just felt weird, to see people like that. I have a cousin, when she leaves her voicemail, she's like, oh, this is da-da-da, and call me back, and da-da-da, and, but when you talk to her on the phone, she don't sound like that.
Yeah.
People, you, I don't know if you ever been around anybody have an operator voice where it sounds white, then a mug is proper and white, and then they have that nigga voice, that come out ratchet. Shut up, close that goddamn door. Then when they get on the phone, yes, how may I help you? Yes,
yeah, and it's quite interesting. Create So Far Junior says, yes, Yoshi, I can relate to those Stacey Dash feelings. Yesterday was sitting in back with third frequency brother chatting about sex and sports with a white boy. They were both from the suburbs. It's true. I mean, I guess that's why when I went to university, I couldn't really understand why there was so much interest in the white girls, because I thought that, I mean, hey, they didn't really excite me, even though I grew up looking at, and my first girlfriend was Marilyn Monroe. That was my first girlfriend. Yeah, my first girlfriend was Marilyn Monroe, but I overcame that. I overcame that. I came back home.
Monroe?
Yes, I suffered from CAIDS.
What you seen from Marilyn
Monroe? I suffered from CAIDS because they said she was so beautiful. She was so pretty.
You believed it?
Yes, sir. Oh man, heck, I'm not gonna tell a lie. I was like most brothers who grow up. Your family not really. Your family saying white people ain't no good, but at the same time, they're not telling you don't be around white folks. They're not telling you that white people, you should avoid white people because they're dangerous. See, I learned in a sense. I taught my sons and daughters that they had to be different. My son, I was going to school when he was kind of young, so I was always afraid that he was going to maybe marry a white girl, because because I was, when he was young, I was at university, And some of my son, he's always been pro-black. My oldest baby, I mean, hell, that's my kick-ass son with his little short ass. He might be short, but hey, people know he'll whoop ass.
He kicked that
He
tail.
will kick ass. Yes, sirs. Yes, sirs. But the point is this: is that
Little people.
you be trying to, you be afraid sometimes when you're in university and you're always around white folks. You do feel that your children. I got my daughter; she get mad because when I was in Urbana, I was offered a job, to teach at Urbana Junior High School. And I said, yeah, I said that I'm glad I didn't take that job because all of y'all would be married to white folks today. Why you say that, Pops? I said, hell, because y'all would have been around number of white people in Urbana. Folks, yeah. And so then, I mean, I may have had a magical Negro as a son, because it's not impossible. But we were always black power, and white was black power. And I really lucked up that yeah, me and my wife, we were yin and yang. We had some differences, but when it came to politics, we were on the same wavelength. So that made a big difference because a lot of brothers and sisters, they ended up, getting up with wives or husbands who were really magical Negroes.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Off subject, because you said your wife, y'all different with the politics. When you seen, what'd you say?
I said we had the same politics, but
okay,
we were still yin and yang.
What did you watch that Biden and Trump debate thing?
No, I just heard about it.
You didn't see no clips or nothing?
I saw the clips of it, and he acted like a robot,
I just want to hear from you.
Well, he acted to hear from you. He acted like a robot. They could see if they were really serious. They go ahead and use. They do have. I do think they have synthetic bodies. I think they have synthetic bodies that they can put your consciousness in.
Yeah, they've been working on that since the 70s.
Yeah, so I think they got that. I think that
dude, they got Biden.
Yeah, no, I don't think they got a clone for him.
So that you think that's medication or what? Because it looked like it's medication too. If I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say it wasn't a robot or it wasn't nothing funny going on, I say it's medication.
I think the thing is this: is that they don't want to just put him in a clone. He won't let they got clones. Mm-hmm. Even though I know that the majority of people think that's science fiction. I think that Baby Bush, I think he's a clone because I remember when he was killed. I remember when he was I remember when he was killed in Washington when they threw that shoe at him. No, I mean in Moscow. He's at a concert in Moscow and they threw a shoe at him and he was injured. Really? Oh yeah, hell yeah! I believe that Baby Bush. I believe that Baby Bush was a clone and stuff, and I believe they got
that harnessing the spirit and stuff. Yeah, your soul.
The clones, but I don't know why they won't go ahead and get a clone for Biden. And instead of just letting him really show how senile he is, they should go ahead and get a clone. But they won't do that for some reason.
I found it. I didn't find it realistic. I kind of found it comical, staged. I felt like it was scripts being read. I felt like it just wasn't authentic. I felt like something was wrong, and I felt like if this is the leaders of America, this got to be a wicked ass dream, man. Like for me to see this play out, and these people, both of them are disillusional, and they like babies throwing stuff at each other, man. And I just don't understand it. It's really I don't know if you ever seen anything like that in your lifetime, but I know that normally they will talk a little sense to kind of trick the public, before they go into loony land
But
versus
but
now.
remember they was able in a sense to get President Reagan reelected, and he was senile, and they was able to cover that up real good with him. And now we know that he was senile. The thing about Biden, I think is that Biden I think that Biden they just like I said, they got clones. They could have replaced him with a clone, but they don't want to replace him with a clone and stuff. That's I know you people think I'm saying I'm sci-fi person, but I do. I believe they got clones. But I think in the sense is that I think they don't really care. I don't really know what's going on. I really think you know I live in America, so I try to be cool, but I really don't know what's going on. I really don't know if I really don't know if I really don't know what's the reason behind this. What's the reason for them to allow him to be in that position?
It don't look real.
It don't look real, but it hasn't looked real. It hasn't looked real in this country ever since. Remember. I don't know if you remember or not. Remember when they made Bush president? When
Yeah.
really the Democrat had won, but they
The
made
son
Bush.
with Al Gore, right?
Yeah, when Al Gore won, and then
Uh-huh.
the Supreme Court made ever since then. See, like I really believe in a sense. It's like now I really believe that Trump won the last election. I believe that, but I believe in a sense they just put Biden in. So that's how I see it. I don't really feel that our vote really matters anymore. Maybe on the local level, but I don't think nationally that it matters.
I don't I think that they are puppets. All right, I don't know if you ever watched The Simpsons, but Simpsons had an episode where the two aliens came down here and they was both Republican and Democrat and they ran against each other and whoever won, they was both aliens and anyway.
Yeah.
And they was talking stupid stuff all day. They was saying
Yeah.
the stupidest slogans and people was like, yeah, 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 yeah.
Right.
And that's what I'm seeing now. I see two idiots up there. And the reason why I say that, and I've never thought about this before, but these guys really, I seen street dudes have a more sensible argument than them two farts. To be honest, the arguments in the debate was just mad stupid, and it was a
Yeah.
disgrace, man, for that to be the leaders of America. But it didn't seem like it was natural, even from Trump, knowing who he is. He even when he talk, it don't seem natural. When he talk, it seemed like someone's pushing the words out like a baby. It's like it's the words are being pushed out.
Well, the thing is, this is that I really feel that we, as I said before, ever since they made baby Bush president when he had really lost, I don't believe nothing that I see. I don't believe nothing I see. I go along with whatever they say exists, but I don't really believe that. I don't really believe it. I don't really believe that I don't believe that Biden won. I don't believe Biden won that last election. I don't believe it one bit. But
Even Al
again, in a
Gore,
sense,
Al
yeah,
Gore won that one. I remember that. I was in high school.
yeah. And
I
I
remember that.
I, I remember Al Gore won the one with Baby Bush. I
He
believe
felt
that
real bad because he
I
knew he
believe
got punked out of that.
yeah, and then Biden. I don't believe that Biden won. I don't believe Biden won the last election. I saw those. Those figures coming in, and all of a sudden at 12 o'clock, everything changed. Get out of
Oh,
here.
really?
Oh
Oh,
yes, but again, I don't care because see, the whole point is this: is that the whole white world is a fantasy, and
it
the
is.
thing is this is that if you get caught up in it, you can lose yourself. You
Yes, you
see,
can.
and
Because
that's what made the magical Negro. That's what made the magical Negro so dangerous in the sense is that there is so many black people that feel that our safety depend on keeping white people happy, and it's a lot of people that feel in the sense that they'll do anything. Some will
Family,
really feel sincere.
do y'all know anybody around y'all that have these symptoms, Kay? Have
Um,
y'all seen it being played out? Have y'all seen one of them gullible guys or girls talk to them and did some old CAIDS stuff in front of your face? Put it in the chat. I love to hear it. Your
I'd love to hear
experience
it
is,
too,
yeah, your experience is very valuable here.
because
CAIDS run deep, man.
it runs deep, but most of the time they won't do it in front of you. A lot of times, in a sense, when I was
Ooh, they
see,
letting that
I'm
tail behind
retired.
closed doors.
Yeah, I'm retired now. When I was working at Governor State University, I used to see a lot of brothers. They would when they get in those meetings, man,
Hmm.
and you see they betray brothers and sisters right away, and I'd be surprised in the sense that it's any black people
Sad.
that work in universities, and that is more than one in a department, because it looked like if one brother get in a department, especially brothers. I didn't see sisters so much, but I saw a whole lot of brothers, man, that are stoned to the bone, Uncle Toms, and will betray you in a minute
Yeah.
when it come to being around white folks and trying to get the right jobs that can help you to
Yep.
be successful. They'll betray you in a minute, man.
Yep. And that's why I never mingled with a couple of different light skinned folks. I had a friend.
Get out of
Yeah,
here.
I
Come
really
on
do.
now.
I judge. I'm sorry. I look at a light skinned dude and I gotta know if your mama black or white. I had one friend, his mother was white. And he was real cool. And he used to come to the hood, but he made that choice to be black.
Yeah.
So he used to hang with us in the hood, and he learned, we talked and chopped it up. It was just a different environment. How he explained it on his childhood growing up, but his mother was like pro white trash, so they really didn't have much. So it wasn't a gap as far as our hood mentality and what he was growing up in. So, pretty cool dude. But for the most part, nah, I don't really hang around with light skinned folks because they kind of weird to me, man. They kind of goofy on
Hmm.
some weird stuff. If I don't know their parents, if their parents is white, a lot of 9 times out of 10, we ain't gonna mix. It's just a
Yeah.
weird mix, man, because I'm about, us and everything, and I'm not talking about sports. I can't relate with your Tiger Woods.
But
Mm.
it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that in the 60s and 70s, we were really my me and my light skinned cousins were really close. But it looked like by the 80s and 90s, they kind of moved away.
Hmm.
My real light skinned cousins, and then and they kind of like it seemed as though the more opportunity that black people got, the people who was light skinned, the more they kind of moved away from dealing with you if you were dark, even if you was on the same economic level. They would try to hide, or they would try to, they tried to pretend. They tried, in a sense, to be fakey or O-face whites.
See, that's that weird stuff. So I had a aunt, right, and she's light skinned, and I have an aunt that's dark skinned.
Yeah.
I went out to the north side to go visit the dark skinned aunt. The light skinned aunt, she's a Catholic. She find out. She get upset. She texts me, get mad, say, "What you doing going to see her? I thought I was your favorite auntie." Because deeper down the rabbit hole in their story, they have a family feud. They've been fighting with each other because she's light skinned. They're both sisters, and one dark skinned, and the dark skin has a hard time being around, different things, situations. Light skinned one had it good. So she would always throw her light skinned privileges in her dark skinned face, her sister face. So they always grew up fighting. So when I went to go visit her, She got on the phone itching at me, and mind is my aunt. I haven't talked to that lady since. It was weird to me because I'm not one to be in family feuds, nor do I care about what y'all got going on. Both of y'all my aunts, and y'all not supposed to be doing that, not around me at least. And I didn't want no parts of that energy of if I go visit you, something was wrong and you have a feud with it. So this is the same family when I go and visit my grandmother. When she was around, my dad would call, find out that I visited her, and he would curse her out.
Why?
And because he'll say, "Why you let a stranger in your house? You just let strangers in." Because he disowned me. He didn't want me to be his child, but
Oh, wow.
we already did a DNA test, and because my mother had to do that to get child support, and I'm all his, but he denied it to his other kids. So I got four other siblings that don't claim me as a brother because of what their dad is telling them. So that's
Wow.
a little deep story on Yoshi. Yeah. So little family problems, but it's weird though. That family feud of fighting with each other over the skin tone. So I'm actually real close to it with learning about the brown bag, um, how they used to do in school. So if they put a brown bag next to you, and if you're darker than that brown bag, you don't graduate. If you're lighter, they'll graduate you, get you a high school diploma and everything. Prime example is my dad couldn't read, and he has a high school diploma. He lived in Louisiana, in the country, so they just passed him anyway. So these are the light skin privileges that people had back in the day that carries on. So I have a generation on my dad's side that I don't know about. Well, I don't know them offhand. When I did run into them and meet them, this is the first interactions that I pretty much got, which was family feuds and just weird stuff that was going on in the family. It just didn't resonate with me, and I felt distant with them, and I didn't want to get to know them. So yeah, that's an insight on my story on the brown bag specials. My mother
Yeah.
know about it, and she the one who told me about him not actually going to school, but having a high school diploma. And she asked him about that, and he called her one day and asked how to spell um tailgate or something. It was just a word like that, and she laughed at him, and he called her a stupid fool. He said, "You stupid fool! Tell me how to spell tailgate." And she said, "You the stupid fool for asking how to spell." So that's how she found out he was kind of mentally
Yeah,
slow.
well, it's a lot. It's a lot of people, man. It's a lot. You really it's a lot of people who fake and can't really read.
There you
Even
go.
even some young people. And definitely some old people, but even some young people. But like I was asking this girl the other day,
Hmm.
how do people? I was at the bank, and I was asking people how do like they wouldn't let us teach kids how to do cursive writing.
Cursive, yeah.
They wouldn't let us do that, you know. And I said, what do young people under 30 do now when they to sign their names at the bank? She said, well, they can write anything they want. I said, damn, it's not a
Wow.
blip that but they made it so we couldn't teach it. We couldn't teach cursive writing no more.
That's what my
By
little
the
brother told me. Yeah, my little brother said that
late 90s.
they stopped it, yeah, in the late 90s, because I
Yeah,
was able
90s
to
and
be taught
2000.
I was able to be
Yeah.
taught cursive, but when he was going to school, they didn't teach him
No,
cursive.
they wouldn't, and it's why did they dumb down? It's like somebody made a decision purposely to dumb down American children.
And cursive is pretty. So the attack on American kids,
But it's by the government or something, man.
remember when I said that there's another entity, man? It's another if you believe that they have the right, I mean the access to clone, and
Yeah.
they've been playing with molecules, they know about different frequencies. You know that there's a dome over the earth that they can't get out.
You're not supposed to know that, man. You don't know that. That ain't, you're not supposed to know that.
Oh, you're not. But let's say, for instance, you do know these things. All right, you don't know what's real and what's fake.
Yeah, that's true.
There,
That's true.
video clips, any video clip that is resurfacing now that was somewhere in the 60s, 80s, 90s, and you never seen it, you have to think, is this AI?
Yeah.
All right, let me explain something to y'all. They've been using all the AI products before we have them.
Yeah.
And they've been having it in their possession for years before we had. AI has been invented for years before us. That's what I'm trying to let y'all know. And we just have access to it. Just like the cell phone was invented years before we had access to the tap
Everybody.
screen.
Yeah.
Everybody. So, and I always question that, because what they do is they call it the eras. When they bringing out like a new era of something, a revolution, and they want to impact it. So when they bring these devices out, they got to come hitting you with different devices. So it's marketing. They want to know, it's strategic marketing, and it's a plan on just how to wheel you in to get more bang for whatever technology there is. They already have flying vehicles. They already have the patent to put in the road. They already got all these things, but the increments to get there, it's so much money in between it. Why jump straight to it when we can give them all this bull crap in between and make so much money off of it and build from there? Why give them the answer to the question when I can give you all of this runaround, and that runaround give me that attention? By you giving me that attention, you're paying attention to me. You're paying attention to me. So you're constantly paying. So one thing I want to tell everybody is this: what I realized, why the spirits won't allow me to do different webinars or things on how to make money off of videos. For the simple fact is, if I make a video explaining to you how to make the video, thinking that I'm gonna make money, or you thinking that you're making money off of the videos, so you're like, teach me how to make the video to make money. In reality, I make the money off of you, and that's how I look the way I look, because I make the money off of you who believe in me, who thinking that if I can teach you what I know, you would have the money like me, but instead you would pay me to look like me and keep that stature of who I am. And that's why I looked at it and said, no, there gotta be a better way around that, because this AI stuff doesn't last for long. The minute you learn this AI stuff, there's another program that they're looking to top it. So 1 month I can teach you this program, guaranteed the next month I am not using that program. I'm on a whole nother program.
That's what it looks like to me too. What is your final comment about the the magical Negro? What is your final comment?
CAIDS.
A lot of K's out there, baby.
Dun, dun. It opens your eyes and make you aware of what to look at and what to when you I'm telling y'all, man, that dude description, he is everywhere. And I guarantee you there's a guy in your grocery store that's looking like him right now that has them same Cade as thoughts.
Yeah.
And you can point them out.
And then when you go back to when you were working, you always knew a magical Negro.
Yeah.
I've been retired since 2016, but I remember him, Yeah.
You always, hey, and look, I apologize. Look, we was eating some cake. It was we celebrated the family get together
That's cool.
yesterday, and my wife made me some cake and brought me some coffee, man. And we haven't had coffee in a while, and I just wanted to try it, and it was delicious. So excuse me, y'all. So big up to everybody and all the family out there. Check out JP's book and her sister book. They both have a book out. Y'all need to check it out. It's out on Amazon. Ancient Black Spirituality and what's the other one called, Dr. Clyde?
It's about the
Past is
Southeast
never.
Asia.
No, the other one is Past is never pressed.
I haven't heard that. I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, all right. So JP, if I would love to have you on the show. If you and your sister want to be on to promote the book, man, get at me and I'd love to have you on. Shout out to Rhonda Lewis because she have her book coming out, Escape from Jim Crow, and I'd love to have you up on the show as well. Maria Antoinette got an album coming out, Fierce. I would love to have you up on the show as well. As soon as you are ready to debut your album.
Yeah, so
And
let us know.
I will. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, y'all let us know what's up and get at me because all y'all got my contact. Please get at me and we'll put y'all up on here. But I want to thank y'all for this review and thank you, Baba, for looking at it. Man, you watched it twice. I watched it once and stopped in the middle to go punch the air because I was imagining it was that dude face Justice, and I was just and I watched another movie from him, and I wanted to go on the scream. It was him. He was pissing me off. I found out it was him, man.
They got another movie.
It ain't about that. It's just his character. It's
Yeah.
him. He was in the Throne movie too, and something like that. And this his character. And his character is naturally him. So some people you say you just want to punch their face. He's one of them guys, man. And if I met him in real life, I know he ain't gonna do no harm to me. I ain't gonna do no harm to him.
Yeah, he
But on
does.
the
He does.
screen,
But they're dangerous. But they're dangerous because they have a lot of
very.
influence.
They do.
They
have
have a
of
lot of influence, and by him being able to make the movies that he's making, that shows a lot of influence.
It really does. He
Yeah.
got that bread. So hopefully y'all can put some bread behind Yoshi. Y'all hit the Cash App. Every dollar counts. Thanks to JP and everybody. And all my Patreon members, I was able to purchase this device right here, along with a couple of new apps.
What is
Y'all got
that? What does it do?
this right here is for my video editing. So I can go up, down. I can copy, paste, enter, select. I can do everything up on here. I don't have to go around my keyboard and do so much. So I'm gonna make a video up on here, and it also have a dial. So I'm gonna give everybody a review on that to make your editing very quick and simple, and you can program this in yourself. So thank all my supporters for that. I really appreciate the money. The money does go back into the craft. So my money does not have to go anywhere else into the craft. I do construction work. So I be out there working in that sun and that pays for my household. But in order for me to get to where I gotta get and create the movies, it comes from the Cash Apps.
Everybody can see that Cash App. There's a Cash App.
That's where the money. Whenever y'all send me money in the Cash App, that's where it goes. So thank you, Eve, for the bread. Thank you, Teresa, for the bread. Thank you, JP, for the bread, and your sis. I really appreciate it. Y'all really looked out. Thank you, Dr. Clyde, for the bread. Dr. Clyde sent me some money on the Cash App. That went into this device as well, and it really helps me build because a lot of these apps that I'm using, they're like $30 a month for the subscription, and every dollar helps. I have an album out. Dr. Clyde, make sure you go grab the album, brother. Check it out.
Hey, Gumroad?
Yeah, it's an album out on Gumroad. And that album right there is an album that I've written, and it is a B1 album. And that album should it should
have you made a video yet to go to a B1 song? Because you told me not to play it yet.
All right, That actual song, All right, so this is what I need bread for. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with y'all. There's a mixing program, a mastering program that I need, and that mastering program, I have it written right up here because I have to write a list on the things that I need because I need a mastering program called Lander, LANDR, and that program costs $300. I need an IRSC code producer. The IRSC code is a code that you put on your videos and on your music to link it back to you, the artist, so you could get full credit for
Come
it.
on now, you guys got to go ahead. I'm gonna start it off. Cash App the brothers some money.
I'm not releasing.
Cash App them.
Hey y'all, look, I can't release none of that music until I have the IRSC code and until I have the mastering code. I mean,
Send
the
that
mastering
Cash
suite.
App. Hit that Cash
I gotta
App.
have the mastering suite. So
Hit the
I'm not.
Cash App.
Look, I'm not on here saying that what I'm producing ain't gonna benefit us. It's gonna benefit us. When y'all ask why there's not no FBA movies out, why there's not a movie talking about the beginning of the creation, why there's nothing talking about who we were over here before Columbus, before this, before that, who were we before? Because nobody's endorsing people like me. I mean, big shout out to Tariq Nasheed, but on the cool, get with me and Dr. Clyde, and we'll tell you how to, we need to get a movie down pack, man. You got this movie money floating around. Let's get a movie, man. Because if them other folks can do it, like Tyler Perry, we can do it. If they can get a grant, we can get a grant. So anything, thank you, Dr. Clyde. Anything helps. Anything is appreciated. Anything gets me to where I gotta get, and I really appreciate everybody. Dr. Clyde sent me, I mean, real deal. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Dr. Clyde Winters, because every little bit helps.
Hit the Cash App, family.
Every little
Hit
bit
the
helps.
Cash App.
He started it off. Teresa started it off and hit me up. Dr. Clyde hit me up. Thank you. Karen is part of the Patreon. I really appreciate you for your support since day one, since we started this show. You really been a support. She got 2 accounts on that to help me out. Not even 1, but 2 that she have up on that. And the JP, she purchased the album. So it's called Rise Up. So she went on there and purchased the album already. And Dr. Clyde just purchased his right here. So I'm about to send him his bread. If y'all give me the bread right here directly, I send you that album and directly on to you. It's a 14-song album. A lot of the songs will uplift you. It'll make you feel good. Also, some of the songs are dedicated to you, Dr. Clyde, and your show. A song is dedicated to JP on her spirituality book, her Black Ancient Spirituality. So, yeah, y'all check that out. Please do. It's for everybody. It's welcome to everybody. It's open, man. So I want to thank everybody for listening. Appreciate it.
Hey, be supportive. Support him, support the brother, because he's doing the stuff, but it takes money, and you guys got the money. Cash App.
Ashe. Yo.
And any given time, I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. And any given time, I may be follow. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. And any given time, I may be follow. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may die. What's the that you don't want me to say? I've been big on my listen to me. Sometimes I feel like the living I made. On my grandmother willing to make. Left me behind and left me astray. What is the truth that was going on with me? Tell me be cool and just have a nice day. Some things are just easy to say. Wishing can stop me from breathing a day. Don't have no food and they swimming on me. Out in the ocean away from the bay. I've been drifting along far away. I went up in to keep them away. See what you see, but I just cannot stay. Force me to lane and they want me to drink. Can't do the crime, it don't suit me. Mine, unfortunately, ain't my sorrow. Swimming and follow, sleeping and hollow. Bring on the idol, listen to Carlo. Living a borrow, living a borrow. Living a car home, shooting a hollow. Shooting a porno, pop out the carno. Zooming out your look out in the eye. Y'all know I'm seeing that is a pyramid. Hey, they tell me that is a primitive. I look at music biz, kept the hook to the ring. Chill at the color quiz, that's what the mission is. We are the guinea pigs. Music, I'm feeling it. Tired of the silliness. No longer feeling it. Feeling we're killing it. Feeling like feeling it. Swimming this message off of the shore into the abyss. Deep in, I'm in. ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm on the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm on the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm on the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may die. Works of a genie, what a fiend, take you to Feeny. How would they see me? Sleazy bikini, nothing but weenie. Wearing a beanie, frozen bikini. Changing the scenery, Show me your misery, so many lies of me. Probably got you on TV, believe me. Pulling your memories, killing the name. You never just admit that they got me. Machiavelli could have never been sloppy. We can see it's nothing but copies. Let Sam cook up in that lobby. Billie Holiday just was a body. George Clinton committed them robberies. It seems he went for the lottery. This all falls in one category. We all calling it mystery. I'm the villain you all see. They glory to those who all see. Pendergrass set up like Eddie Murphy. No car crash, they just hating on me. Gotta make a comeback like Bill Cosby. Kobe Bryant playing conspiracy. Get me back for taking a knee. But they just be kidding me. Like it's my turban, hit when I'm swerving. Like those curses, when I'm curving. More laceration, installation, no motivation. Straight elimination, your animation, alienation, annihilation. All for the taking, taking like taking. Open faking, us personation. Who you saving? Change like Raven. Sammy Davis, had to shake them. Who's a brave one? How you craving? Even Jaden save him. Taylor paving. Who we faking? Harry make them misbehaving. We the brave men. Before we down in the water, got a deep dive. I'm in the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm on the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm on the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm on the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may die. There's always one who just got rain. Came from the cave, made from the maid, created the slave. Step out of water, fiction is harder. Why do they bother? Go on my head, curse like a daughter. Same boat, same fate, only in slaughter. Stiff throat, jet bro, same as a father. Justify life, should it be harder? For my nation, make things harder. See how they come, all as one. Force me to gun, force me to the slum. Live up the crime, father, son. Best is beyond, live as one. Train the nuns, spit for the young. Nobody's dumb, maybe just someone Maverick approach, proof by Yojo. And the kind of grow, just as the old go came off the old phone. E-I-E-I-O-E-O song. Training the wheel until it's all gone. Gotta go deeper, dive with the people. Some turn lethal, neighbors is evil. Go for the right, give up the fight. No human right, kill them on sight. Many to spare, many beware. I see that I'm there, I see that I'm here. Ready with flash, calling all bad. All genders are here. We the illusion, not disappear. As hard as my chin, deep dive. I'm an illusion and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm on the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm on the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm on the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may
Yeah, right now, it's time to wrap everything up, you dig? Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed the show. And Dr. Clyde Winters, then and now. Yeah, I really appreciate everybody, all y'all support. Y'all like, subscribe, and share this, you dig it? You've been invited to the dinner now. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the dinner now. Yeah, Dr. Clyde Winters in the Yoshi mind. Intro, outro to the dinner now. We gon' see it, so have dinner now. Yeah, raise your head, why put them down? B1 on that dinner now. FB8 on that dinner now. FBB on that dinner now. It's all about unity on that dinner now. My indigenous folks on that dinner now. All my Africans rise on that dinner now. Rise up on that dinner now. And don't forget to subscribe to dinner now.
So